I have in paying great tribute to you, doubled with sincere and warm thanks. As a matter of fact, you have with magnanimity and generosity. The two sides of ingratitude shall alter the noble feeling of respect, as well as esteem and admiration that I have always had for your august person. I also take this opportunity, with your permission, to pay heartfelt homage to your distinguished spouse, who relentlessly assists in the fulfillment of your mission. As the service of the brotherhood people of the Islamic Republic of the Gambia, for all the above-mentioned reasons, I shall conclude my duties in the Gambia invigorated and revitalized, since my sojourn in proximity to a head of state of an exceptional stature cannot but be a viatum and a reason for hope in the future of the functional Senegalo-Gambian cooperation. Allow me to add, as a privileged witness of your leadership, that I have no doubt about the future of your country, my second homeland, and that of the sub-region, which will continue to benefit from your vision as from your saving work in favor of an economic and social development to the overall benefit of the populations. May God guide and protect you. God, all hearing, answers the prayers of those who employ him. Please accept, Your Excellency, the President, the assurances of my highest consideration and esteem. Members of Newtown West Ward Development Committee on Monday presented a lantern to the First Lady, Her Excellency, Madam Zainab Yaya Jammeh, at the July 22nd Square in Banjul. The gift, as Uminjai reports, is in recognition of Madam Jammeh's efforts at bettering the lot of the citizenry.
The Newtown West Ward Development Committee is the latest group to present a spectacular lantern, otherwise called fanal, to the First Lady, Madam Zainab Yaya Jammeh, through Dr. Fatou Lamin Faye. The presented lantern boat, which is made of bamboo with white paper hung over it and decorated internally with candles and electric lights, according to the Banjul West Ward Councillor, is in recognition of First Lady Jammeh's commitment to bettering the lives and livelihoods of Gambians.
You may wonder why we have decided to make this presentation to Madam Yaya Jammeh and why lantern. We have carefully thought over so many issues and are very much impressed with Madam Jammeh. And so, in recognition of her unalloyed resolve as she stands in solidarity with the development aspiration of His Excellency the President, Madam Jammeh has not just supported her husband with words. We all can testify to the fact that she is action-oriented.
The lantern boat, which is now embedded to the Gambian culture, is believed to be a legacy left behind by Portuguese explorers who came to the Gambia in the 18th century. In the Gambia, particularly in Banjul, where lantern displays are mostly seen, they walk along the streets in a slow procession during Christmas time, accompanied by music, drumming and dancing, and group of followers behind. Dr. Fatou Lamin Faye, while receiving the lantern boat, recounted on the numerous developments headed by Madam Zainab Jammeh in the past years. Dr. Faye went on informing the gathering on the importance of cultural heritage, saying that it allows for better understanding of previous generations and history.
As His Excellency always says, a community or a country without a culture is a nobody. You have to know your culture, be able to go back to your roots, know who you are, to be able to present yourself.
Kotongom and Amadou John both thanked the First Lady on behalf of the group for the recent anti-cancer campaign she championed on the occasion of World Cancer Day 2016. They jointly prayed for the well-being of the First family. The Basic and Secondary Education Minister later presented a cash amount of $50,000 to the group courtesy of First Lady Jammeh in appreciation of the magnificent lantern boat dedicated to Madam Zainab Jammeh. Ominjai, GRDS.
Officials of the ruling Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction's political and other party bigwigs continue their nationwide tour with meetings in the Lower River region towns of Jara, Soma, and Quinala. H.N. Silva was embedded with the delegation, and this is his report.
From the URR's administrative town of Basse, the APRC Secretary General and his team of party heavyweights drove to Soma in the Lower River region for a similar meeting. Soma is the home of the Deputy National Women Mobilizer Fatunjai Fofana Jaju C, a lady credited for orchestrating the cross-carpeting of scores of opposition figures to the ruling party in LRR. The Deputy Women Mobilizer did her homework by mobilizing a large number of people to grace the Soma meeting. Fatunjai, who herself was born in a one-time opposition heartland of Sankuya, called on the women of the region to build a united front loyal to the standard bearer of the APRC party. Chief Yaya Jajusi of Jaro West and youth mobilizer Sidi Sane informed the delegation about the region's state of preparedness for the upcoming elections. Chief Jajusi also told the delegation about the steps taken by the chiefs of LRR in providing voter cards to the less privileged eligible voters during the ongoing supplementary voter registration by IEC. The Transport Minister Balagab Jahumpa, who also holds the portfolio of Secretary General of the APRC party, hailed the efforts of the chiefs, urging other structures to emulate the efforts of the traditional rulers. He, however, used the gathering to further sensitize the party supporters about the ongoing voter registration, the upcoming APRC Congress, as well as the need to establish an APRC Regional Administrative Secretariat in LRR. The APRC National Mobilizer Yankuba Koli reiterated his message of party discipline among APRC supporters countrywide. Mayor Koli blamed infighting and disrespect in grassroots politics for giving birth to numerous independent candidates in the country and appealed to all and sundry to do away with personal beefs and work for a common good. Aissatou Jifanga Jaju, the National Women Mobilizer and National Youth Mobilizer Babuge Sonko, also renewed their call for teamwork among youths and women, who they said are tasked with the responsibility of giving President Jammeh a landslide victory in this year's election. The delegation held a similar meeting the following day in Quinella in Kiang, where the same message as well as reactions were made. The Lower River region has an estimated 43,700 eligible voters, and almost 90% of this figure is believed to be loyal to the ruling party, according to the region's governor Salif Pui, who said his region will secure 30,000 signatures for the president's nomination. The delegation later made a visit to the party's regional secretariat in Lower River region to wrap up its activities in the area. H.N. Silva, GRTS.
Meanwhile, two prominent opposition figures recently announced their allegiance to the governing party at a meeting in Kombo Birkama. The converts were reportedly swayed by the numerous development projects championed and implemented by the Jammeh administration. H.N. Silva again.
Fatu Keita and Jenaba Bojang are natives of Kombo Central in the West Coast region. The two women are said to have specialized interest in key social activities such as politics, an area they have been actively involved for more than 2 decades now. Unlike many, these two women were never afraid of showing off their identity as members of the opposition until last Sunday, when they surprised everybody with their decision to part ways with what they called a regrettable past and offer to join the ruling APRC party at a mass rally in Brikama. The new converts, who claim to have previously occupied a high sense of dignity and self-esteem among the opposition ranks, expressed deep regret for helping their former political party to spread what they call series of unrealistic propaganda to its followers. The opposition, they allege, has now proven its lack of credibility and direction and do not stand a chance of winning elections in the country. The defectors also paid glowing tribute to the standard bearer of their new party for ushering in some tremendous developments that touched their lives as well as those of the opposition. The said development they continued were what prompted their cross-carpeting to the ruling party and are hoping will attract a lot more opposition figures to the APRC party. The national mobilizer Yankuba Koli, welcoming the new converts into the party, assured them of the party's desire to receive any member of the opposition seeking to join the ruling party. Mayor Koli further implored his fellow members of the APRC party to open up to the new entrants since the party needs more and more people. The governor of the region, Sifai Haidara, hailed the two women for cross-carpeting to the APRC party while calling on other opposition loyalists to follow suit. Governor Haidara also used the gathering to dismiss claims of disunity directed at her region, maintaining that every traditional and or political leadership in West Coast region have agreed to put aside all forms of political bickering and are now united under one voice. The Secretary General of the party, Balagaba Jahumpa, thanked Governor Haidara and her people for staging what was the biggest turnout yet in the tour. The party Secretary General also took time to hammer home some remarkable developments heralded during 21 years of the July 22nd revolution. The president's accomplishments, Action Man further stated, have changed every aspect of life and that Gambians should repay him by supporting the development endeavors. Both women and youth mobilizers, including Paramount Chief Demba Sanyang, all spoke at the Brigham rally. They called on their fellow supporters to secure their voter cards on time in order to be part of decision-making. Also earlier in Buyam, a similar meeting was convened where similar messages were disseminated to scores of attending supporters of the party. The West Coast region, as the most populous region out of the rest, often prides itself with having the biggest fan base loyal to the APRC party. However, support was not manifested in the 2011 presidential polls, where they came out fourth alongside CRR. Meanwhile, the meeting is a turning point for the governor and her people who are pledging a staggering 500,000 signatures for the president's nomination.
Mbading Birkamon Kul, Mbading West Coast Region Kul, Allah Wasilo, Mandinaba, Kata Facility, Jumale Dada, Jameji Lanka, Nibodaje Fanang, Mbading Birkamon
Chen Silva, Grts News.
The country representative of the Food and Agriculture Organization and officials from the Ministry of Agriculture recently visited Jara Sutukung Women's Garden, an MDG 1C project implementation site. As Buba SMCC reports, the visit was meant to assess the level of work at a 5-hectare garden.
The main strategies of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, in fulfilling its roles and functions in the country include, but not limited to, provision of technical services to assist the government to develop and implement policy and programs, strengthening institutional capacities and human resources, particularly the Ministry of Agriculture for service delivery and provision of public-private partnerships in joint actions to address sector-wide activities such as food security and nutrition surveys, as well as mobilization and distribution of essential inputs like seeds and tools for food production.
It's important to acknowledge the tripartite relationship that has made this project possible. And that is, one, the leadership of the government, because the project was initiated by the government of the Republic of the Gambia, under the leadership of Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yaya AJJ Jame Babili Mansa. We're coming to the end of a 3-year project, and really we can see the results. The tripartite relationship can only succeed with the full commitment of the community members. And what we have found in Sutukung is that you, the community members, were ready to jump in.
The Deputy Director General at the Department of Agriculture, Sarian Jobate, reaffirmed his department's resolve to relentlessly work closely with the community and by extension with partners towards the attainment of food self-sufficiency drive. He commended the people for their spirit of teamwork, for the successful implementation of the project. Dr. Katepa Kalala challenged the beneficiaries to utilize the resources wisely, adding there is nothing to prevent them from gardening in all year round. Hence, there is water and quality fence. The project is on the verge of phasing out precisely in 6 months, upon which it will be a community-owned project.
Fence is up. It's a good quality fence. The water system is up, the tank is up, the water is running in the garden. You now have water 12 months of the year in the garden. There's absolutely nothing to prevent you from gardening all year around. Nothing at all.
Speakers include the Ward Councillor Keba Fati, Aissatou Jallo, the Women Representative, Asmana Kanaji, Chief of Jara East, and Honorable Bafai Sedikan, the National Assembly Member for Jara East. All express gratitude to FAO and partners for the construction of a borehole and a fencing of the garden, among other things. Ami Fabred joined the previous speakers to register heartfelt thanks and appreciation to FAO for the successful implementation of the project. She assured them of a fruitful collaboration between her institution and that of the people of Sutukong. The Central Processing Coordinating Unit Coordinator, Mbai Jabang, equally assured the communities of his department's unflinching support towards the attainment of food security and improvement of livelihoods. He said the issue of good road network for farmers is part of FASDEF's program, which according to Jabang will include Sutukong village.
We all know that the women and the men who belong to this community garden, who own this community garden in fact, are extremely hardworking. Now, in addition to the hard work, what FAO has realized is extremely important is also having the knowledge and the skills to be able to farm in a way that is at the most advanced technical level possible. It is now that we're coming to the end of the project, those who remain on the ground to give you technical advice when you need it are going to be the Department of Agriculture. It's the extension workers. So please continue to have a very close relationship with them. Please do not hesitate to work very closely with the Department of Agriculture.
The MGG 1C project, which aims at improving food security through crop production intensification and school feeding program, is part of FAO, the Gambia strategic priorities for the period 2013 to 2016. Buba SMCC, GRTS.
The economic crime case involving Usman Baji, former Gambian ambassador to France and elsewhere Minister of the Interior, continued at the High Court on Monday. GRTS's Famara Kanye was at the courthouse, and he reports the accused is expected to open his defense on Tuesday.
The case involving Usman Baji, the former Gambian ambassador to France, is still ongoing at the High Court in Banjul. Baji had been charged with 5 counts, among which are economic crimes contrary to Section 5 of the Economic Crimes Act, Revised Laws of the Gambia 2009. According to the particulars of offense count 1, Usman Baji, between the 14th to the 30th of June 2014, was alleged to have been involved in economic loss to the Republic of the Gambia to the tune of 27,500 euros, being monies paid by the Société Générale Agence Centrale in France. Count 2 states that during his tenure as the head of Gambian mission in France, owing to willful negligence, caused economic loss to the Republic of the Gambia to the tune of 34,333 euros, being revenue collected and not deposited, thereby committing an offense. On count 3 and 4, the accused was charged with neglect of official duty, contrary to Section 113 of the Criminal Code, Revised Laws of the Gambia 2009. According to the particulars of offense, the accused failed to follow up with the Société Générale Agence Centrale in Paris to recover the sum of 27,500 euros, monies paid to Faisal Bojang, the former financial attaché to the Gambian embassy in France, and also caused the loss of 34,333 euros in the embassy's account, thereby committing an offense. On count 5, the accused under Section 113 of the Criminal Code, Revised Laws of the Gambia, failed to perform his duties to pursue the police declaration that the signature of the deputy head of mission was forged, and thereby committed an offense. The prosecution was able to tender all their evidences and witnesses Meanwhile, the accused will open his defense for cross-examination tomorrow, 16 February 2016. For GRCS News, I am Famarakani.
All vehicle owners are hereby urged to go to the police department, Canifin Mobile Traffic, to have their vehicles tested for roadworthy certificates with immediate effect before the registration of vehicles. A news release from the Ministry of the Interior states that vehicle licenses and registration certificates will not be issued without roadworthy certificates by the Gambia Revenue Authority. Therefore, all vehicle owners are kindly advised to do so to avoid being denied registration for their vehicles. The release ends. We will be back with news from outside the Gambia after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Airstrikes have destroyed 2 hospitals in rebel-held areas of northern Syria, killing at least 5 people and wounding many more. One of the attacks at a hospital in Azak on the border with Turkey. The other destroyed a hospital supported by Doctors Without Borders in a town of Marat al-Noman. It's unclear who carried out the airstrikes, but Russia has intensified its attacks on rebel-held parts of Syria in recent days. More in this DWTV report.
An abandoned medical ward in the town of Assaz, one of 2 hospitals hit in new airstrikes in northern Syria. Opposition activists have reported casualties when a missile hit this children's hospital near the Turkish border. Children are said to be among the dead. The other strike hit a hospital supported by French charity Doctors Without Borders in the town of Marat al-Numan. 8 staff members are said to be missing. It's unclear who carried out these latest strikes. Doctors Without Borders said the hospital was deliberately hit, but they haven't identified who is responsible. Meanwhile, Turkish Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoglu expressed his commitment to the protection of Assaz. We won't let Assaz fall. The entire world should know this. We won't let the airport be used against Turkey. The strikes come days after Russia and other world powers agreed to a limited cessation of hostilities in Syria. Assaz was struck at a time when the town has seen an influx of thousands of people fleeing advances by the Russian-backed Syria army. 14 health facilities in Syria have been hit since the start of this year alone. It seems hospitals and clinics can no longer be considered places where patients can recover in safety.
And turning to U.S. politics, the death of a Supreme Court justice is already shaking up this year's race for the White House. Justice Antonin Scalia, the court's leading conservative, died over the weekend at the age of 79. It is still not clear who President Barack Obama wants to nominate to fill the vacancy. Many conservatives say the nomination should wait until after the presidential elections. CNN's Joe Jones has more in this report.
The body of Justice Antonin Scalia returning home to Virginia this morning. The 79-year-old died here in his sleep at a Texas resort over the weekend. Funeral plans for the Supreme Court's strident conservative voice are underway, and so is the epic political battle for his replacement.
President Obama, in my view, should make that nomination. I hope he does it as soon as possible.
There is no way the Senate should confirm anyone that Barack Obama tries to appoint in his last year in office to a lifetime appointment.
The Republicans fear another liberal nominee would tip the scales on some of the defining debates of our time. In the coming months, the Supreme Court justices are expected to take on several hot-button issues, including an Obamacare mandate requiring most employers to pay for birth control, abortion, and the president's actions on immigration.
I plan to fulfill my constitutional responsibilities to nominate a successor. There will be plenty of time for me to do so.
Top Democrat Harry Reid called for the seat to be filled right away. As for a timeline, a senior Obama administration official points to the president's previous Supreme Court nominations, both taking about a month.
He has every right to do it, and the Senate has every right to not confirm that person.
But Senate Republicans are pledging to stall, demanding that Mr. Obama allow the next president to make the choice, nearly a year from now. The GOP hoping this could rally conservatives against a potential liberal shift on the high court, driving voters to the polls come November. The problem with only 8 justices, their only options are to leave the lower court's decisions intact if they're divided on a case, or to hold the case over until a replacement is confirmed.
If the Republican leadership refuses to even hold a hearing, I think that is going to guarantee they lose control of the Senate.
We take our second break now. Sports is next. Welcome back. Joshua male and Gambia Armed Forces female volleyball team have been crowned champions of the 2015-2016 Volleyball National League following their respective wins over CAF male Gamtel female teams in Saturday's knockout final played at the Mane Silla Memorial Basketball Court in Banjul. Babukar Senghor reports on the championship organized by the Gambia Volleyball Association.
Saturday's volleyball final was another high-quality end to an exciting tournament organized by the Gambia Volleyball Association. In the latest installment of a long-drawn rivalry, 4 times national champions Ul Joswang and GAF male team locked horns at the Mane Silla Memorial Basketball Court in Banjul. And under the lights, it was the female sides, Gamsel and GAF, that got things underway in spectacular fashion. GAF maintained their dominance of this category with a 3-1 victory over their rivals. The two sides traded some fierce serves, spikes, and fantastic blocks. Gamsel began impressively with an ace in the 4th set, with the outstanding Senabu Tambidu leading the team. They were pegged back in subsequent sets as GAF hit back, winning the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th sets.
I'm very happy. If you can see, this is a trophy that I've been looking for. I've been going for finals, for the knockout finals, but I'm always unfortunate. So this time around, if I happen to win, I think I should be very much happy, which I am very happy today.
Well, if they want to win the GAF team, it's very simple. Let them train hard and fight easy, as our motto states. So we always train hard and we fight easy.
For their rivals, it was an opportunity missed after coming off the block in blistering style.
My wish was to win the game, but later on I became unlocked on the game.
We came out all the way from our houses up to the ground. We didn't come here to lose. We came here to win. That's what we were expecting. But unfortunately, we lose.
GAF couldn't make a clean sweep of the medal haul as their male team was beaten by Old Joswang in what was the game of the night. After the two sides were locked on 2 sets apiece, the game was decided in a tie-breaker, with Old Joswang winning 15-10. The final was graced by the Minister of Interior, Usman Sanko, who was impressed with the quality of performance on display.
As far as I'm concerned, all the teams that have participated are winners. Because at the end of the day, what is most important is bringing Gambia volleyball to a respectable position that is in the continent and the world at large.
Over the years, volleyball has been gaining momentum on and off the court, with regular tournaments and training of referees and trainers remaining a central theme in this drive under the leadership of Yunus Abari. For Grts Sport, this is Babukar Senghor.
And before we take leave of you, a recap of the day's main stories. Newtown West Ward Development Committee has rewarded Madam Zainab Yahya Jammeh's efforts at bettering the lot of the citizenry with a lantern. 2 former leading opposition supporters have recently switched allegiance to the ruling party. An airstrike on 2 hospitals, one supported by Doctors Without Borders, has killed at least 5 people in northern Syria. And the death of the longest-serving member of U.S. Supreme Court Justice takes center stage in the race for the White House, with some Republicans calling for the postponement of the nomination of his replacement. Well, viewers, that was all in this edition of the News at 10. From me, WINIFRED, NICOL, and the entire news team, thanks for the pleasure of your company. Do stay with us and enjoy the rest of our programs.